Remembering the heroes, why their stories matter. Real war stories are not just history lessons, they are raw, human experiences. They remind us of the cost of conflict. We must listen to these stories, we must learn from them. Soldiers go through unimaginable things. They face danger, fear, and loss. Their stories deserve to be heard. These stories teach us about courage, sacrifice, and resilience. They show us the true face of war. These stories are not about glorifying war. They are about understanding its impact. They are about honoring the men and women who served. By remembering their experiences, we honor their service. June 6, 1944, Normandy, France. The deafening roar of artillery filled the air. Allied forces stormed the beaches. They faced a relentless enemy. Among them was a young American soldier, Private John Miller. He landed on Omaha Beach. Chaos reigned. Bullets whizzed past. Explosions shook the ground. Miller pushed forward with his comrades. Fear threatened to consume him, but he clung to his duty, his training. He had to keep going. Through the smoke, Miller saw his friend Tom fall. A sniper's bullet. Grief washed over him, but there was no time to mourn. Not yet. The battle raged on. High above the clouds, where the air is thin and the horizon stretches endlessly, Lieutenant James "Jimmy" Stewart flew his P-51 Mustang with unwavering determination. A young pilot in the Army Air Forces, he faced the formidable Luftwaffe over the war-torn skies of Germany. The air crackled with tension, the roar of engines and the rattle of machine guns filling the sky. Every mission was a dance with death, a high-stakes game where one wrong move could be fatal. Stewart, a natural leader, inspired his squadron with his bravery and tactical genius. He flew with skill and daring, weaving through enemy fire with precision. He knew the risks all too well, but he never backed down from a fight. His resolve as unyielding as the steel of his aircraft. He was determined to protect his men, to do his duty with honor and courage. On one particularly harrowing mission, Stewart's plane was hit by flak. His engine sputtered and smoked. He struggled to maintain control, his hands steady on the controls despite the chaos around him. He fought to bring his crippled plane back to base, every second a battle against gravity and fate. He refused to give up, his determination burning brighter than ever. He would not let his crew down, his sense of duty and camaraderie driving him forward. Stewart's courage and resilience became legendary, a testament to the indomitable spirit of a fighter pilot. The humid air hung heavy in the Vietnamese jungle. Sergeant Michael Johnson, a combat medic, patched up wounded soldiers. He saw the horrors of war up close, the physical wounds, the invisible scars. Johnson treated both American and Vietnamese soldiers. He saw the humanity in every face. He believed in his mission to save lives. But the war took its toll. He witnessed unimaginable suffering. One day, Johnson's unit was ambushed. He rushed to help a fallen comrade. As he reached for his medical kit, a sniper's bullet found its mark. Johnson fell, his own blood staining the green foliage. Section 5, Vietnam War, facing the enemy, facing yourself. The Vietnam War was a conflict that tested the limits of human endurance and spirit. Sergeant Major Edgar Huff served multiple tours in Vietnam. His journey was one of relentless courage and unwavering dedication. He fought in the sweltering jungles, where the heat and humidity were as much an enemy as the opposing forces. He saw the best and worst of humanity. In the midst of chaos, he witnessed moments of profound kindness and devastating cruelty. He witnessed acts of incredible bravery and unspeakable cruelty, soldiers risking their lives for their comrades, and the horrors of war that left deep scars. Huff led his men with courage and compassion. He earned their respect through his actions and his unwavering commitment to their well-being. He understood the toll war took on the human soul. The constant stress, the loss of friends, and the moral dilemmas weighed heavily on everyone. He saw the fear in his men's eyes. The uncertainty of survival and the ever-present danger were etched on their faces. He felt it in his own heart. The burden of leadership and the responsibility for his men's lives were a constant source of anxiety. After the war, Huff struggled to readjust. The memories haunted him. The guilt, the pain, and the loss were his constant companions. He had survived, but many of his friends had not. The weight of their absence was a heavy burden to bear. He dedicated his life to helping other veterans. He knew the struggles they faced and wanted to be a source of support and understanding. He knew they carried the same burdens. The shared experiences of war created a bond that transcended time and distance. Section 6, Korean War, the chosen reservoir's icy grip. The winter of 1950, the Korean War raged. Temperatures plummeted below freezing. The chosen reservoir became a frozen wasteland. American forces faced a brutal enemy, the Chinese army, and the unforgiving cold. Corporal Joseph Joe Owen shivered in his foxhole. The icy wind cut through his thin clothing. Food was scarce. Ammunition ran low, but their spirits did not break. They fought on, despite the odds. Surrounded and outnumbered, the Americans fought their way out. They marched for days through the snow and ice. They endured frostbite, hunger, and exhaustion. Their courage and determination saved them. Section 7. The Persian Gulf War, a desert storm's fury. The desert sands stretched endlessly. Operation Desert Storm had begun. American forces launched a massive air campaign against Iraq. Captain Sarah Jones, an F-16 pilot, flew mission after mission. The skies were filled with danger. Anti-aircraft fire lit up the night. Jones remained focused. She knew her duty to protect her fellow soldiers on the ground. She flew with precision and skill. One night, Jones's plane was targeted. Warning lights flashed in the cockpit. She had to eject. She landed safely in the desert, miles from friendly lines. Alone and vulnerable, she awaited rescue. Section 8. The long road home, scars that time can't heal. War leaves its mark on the battlefield and in the hearts of those who fight. Many soldiers return home with physical wounds. Others bear the invisible scars of PTSD. They struggle to readjust to civilian life. Nightmares haunt their sleep. Loud noises trigger flashbacks. The war follows them home, a shadow they can't escape. Some find solace in the company of fellow veterans. They share a bond forged in combat. They understand each other's pain. Others struggle in silence, their pain hidden from the world. Section 9. The Power of Resilience. Finding hope in darkness. Despite the horrors they witnessed, many veterans find a way to heal. They draw strength from their families. They find purpose in helping others. They rebuild their lives. Some dedicate themselves to sharing their stories. They hope to educate others about the true cost of war. They advocate for peace and understanding. They turn their pain into purpose. Their resilience is inspiring. They remind us that even in the darkest of times, hope can endure. Their stories are a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Section 10. Honoring their sacrifice, a debt we can never repay. We owe a debt of gratitude to the men and women who have served in our armed forces. They sacrifice their time, their safety, and sometimes their lives. We can never truly repay them for their service. We can, however, honor their sacrifice by listening to their stories, by remembering their names, by supporting organizations that assist veterans. We must never forget the sacrifices they made. We must honor their memory by striving for a more peaceful world. Section 11. Keeping their memory alive, lessons for the future. In this chapter, we delve into the invaluable lessons that history, particularly the history of war, can teach us. Real war stories are not just about the past. They are a bridge connecting us to the experiences and sacrifices of those who came before us. These stories hold valuable lessons for the present and the future. They remind us of the courage, resilience, and humanity that emerge even in the darkest times. They teach us about the importance of diplomacy. Diplomacy is not just a tool for politicians. It is a vital skill for all of us in our daily lives. The need for conflict resolution, the value of peace. These are not abstract concepts, but essential practices that can prevent the horrors of war. By listening to the stories of those who have experienced war firsthand, we gain a deeper understanding of its human cost. We hear about the bravery and the heartbreak, the victories and the losses. We learn that war is not a game. It is a devastating event that affects countless lives and leaves communities shattered. It is not a glorious adventure. The reality of war is far from the romanticized versions we often see in movies and books. It is a brutal reality that leaves lasting scars. Both physical and emotional, these scars are carried by veterans and civilians alike. Let us honor the sacrifices of our veterans by working towards a future where war is no longer necessary. Their stories should inspire us to build a world where conflicts are resolved through dialogue and mutual respect. Let us strive for peace, understanding, and cooperation between nations. These are the pillars of a stable and prosperous world. Let us ensure that the sacrifices made by so many are never forgotten. By keeping their memory alive, we commit ourselves to a future where the lessons of the past guide us towards a more peaceful and just world.